Let's taste some wine. So tonight, it's a Friday night here in Los Angeles, and tonight we had dinner sent in for us from Fundamental LA, which is a great restaurant and wine shop in Westwood and also downtown LA. And Alicia and Wu Jean, who run it and own it, have always been, great supporters of my Italian imports, and also the other portfolio I work with, Bone Imports, especially with natural wines, and they make fantastic food. And so tonight we had steak and roasted vegetables, and for the kids there was mac and cheese, which actually I didn't know was going to be coming. Actually, I didn't know anything. I just ordered it, and it was last minute, and luckily we were able to get some, and of course the price was really good. And so with that steak, which is so, I cook, and, I cook for the family, and I do stuff, and when you have wine, when you have food that's professionally cooked, it just, it always drives me a little bit crazy because it's so much better than what I cook. It's not like I'm going to get any better at what I'm doing. This is pretty much it. What you see is what you get. So, but anyways, the food was fantastic. And with that steak, I had this fantastic Chianti Classico from Piemaggio. Piemaggio is the name of the producer. Fioraie is the name of the località. They actually have a little place name of where the winery is from. It's called Fioraie, and it's a historic little subsection of Castellina in Chianti, which is the subsection of Chianti, right? Because Chianti is the region, which is in Tuscany. Actually, let's put it this way. So Tuscany is the region, Chianti is the sub-region, and Castellina in Chianti is the sub-region of Chianti, and Fioraie is a little place name, which is even a sub-region, a little area of Castellina in Chianti. And this is their Chianti Classico 2015. It's 13.5% alcohol, which for me is fantastic. It's not too alcoholic for the vintage. Sorry, I'm actually still digesting my dinner. And with the steak, which is so much better than my steak, and the roasted vegetables, it actually went incredibly well. I don't know if the kids were drinking too much of it with their mac and cheese, but in our household, of course, it's actually, in our household, the kids can have a little bit of a taste of wine with their dinner because that's how I grew up. And it's actually something that even the Italians don't do anymore. They don't actually feed their kids, wine at dinner as much as they used to in the past, but we still do give them the opportunity to taste the wine and comment on the wine, and just a little taste. And of course, they tasted the Chianti and they really liked it. Anyways, so it's a Chianti Classico. It's mostly Sangiovese with a little bit of Colorino, Ciligiolo, and Canaiolo, which are three different red grape varieties that you can also add into the Sangiovese, which is the main grape variety that is in Chianti Classico, or in Chianti. Classico just means that it comes from, it comes from the Classico zone of Chianti, which is, I can't remember how many villages have it, but you'll hear names like Rada in Chianti, Gaiole in Chianti, Castellina in Chianti, and these are all villages that can claim to be from the Classico zone between Florence in the north and Siena in the south, with Arezzo somewhere in there, and a whole bunch of the other beautiful little hill towns of Tuscany, which is still one of my favorite places to go. Anyway, so this is, as I said, it's Piemaggio Fioraie 2015. And I actually have a really interesting story about how I came on this. I was at Vinitaly, and I ran into one of my customers, Gerald Wiesel from WiMAX, and I ran into him and I said, "Hey, I'm looking for." Actually, I'm sure I'm butchering his last name, so sorry about that, Gerald. And I ran into him and I said, "Hey, I'm looking for a Chianti Classico. I haven't been able to find one that's really good. I had just been beaten out for a couple of really good Chianti Classico producers. One, a famous older producer of Chianti that I had always coveted, but I had never really made an opportunity, or never really had an opportunity to pick them up. And then the opportunity arose, but I was too late to the party, and so I missed out. And then there was a newer producer who is now very famous, and I tried to get them in the portfolio, and it just didn't work out. They had a different idea of what they wanted to do with California than I was able to do at the time, and the wine is still fantastic and one of the best Chiantis on the market, but I just didn't get an opportunity to get it. So I told Gerald, I said, "Hey, I've been beat out a couple times. I don't know, can you, if you're at this, we're at this big wine fair, if you run across any Chianti that you really like, do me a favor, send me a text and let me know." So he went to the Consorzio and he tasted through 150 Chiantis, because that's what he does, and he's really good at that. And he tasted these guys, Le Fioraie, and he texted me and he said, "Hey, so this was a few years ago. He said, "Hey, I tasted this wine. It's really good. It's in a bigger style. But what's good about it is that they've been smart. Everyone else is showing the 2014 vintage, which is a very difficult vintage for the wines of Tuscany. And they're showing the 2013, and their wine is cleaning up on everyone else. It's obviously the best wine out of the whole Consorzio tasting." And so he said, that shows that they're smart. So you should talk to them, because if they're this smart to show a wine from a previous great vintage in a tasting where everyone's supposed to be showing the current vintage, which isn't that good, they're really smart. So anyways, I emailed them, and then I called them, and then I talked to them. And the winemaker is Michele Neri. And Michele actually has lived on the property his whole life, and made wine there before. His aunt and uncle live on the property right above it. And a few years ago, he decided that someone made an offer that he couldn't refuse, so he sold the property. But part of the sale of the property is that he's actually still making the wine, still running the wine portion of it, and is essentially the general manager for the estate. So it's been great for the continuity, because he's been there for 30 some vintages, and he knows the vineyards, and he knows the wines, and he knows everyone. And so even though it has new owners, it actually has an old soul. And of course, his mother ran the property for decades before he ran it, and they've always had agriturismo, and they've been well known in the area forever. Actually, I don't know how long his family's been on that property, but it's centuries, if not more. So anyways, this is 2015 Chianti Classico from Castellina in Chianti. I don't know if you can see it. What I like about it is that it's classic, bloody, like that copper blood, when you cut yourself and you suck on your cut and you get that bloody flavor. That's what you get in the nose and the mouth with this wine. You're not looking for fresh fruits. You're not looking for a fruity, easy wine. What you're looking for is a wine that it's going to taste a little bit more like, actually, you really don't even talk about fruit when you talk about it. And if you did, you talk about cranberry and soy, and you'd talk about like woodsy aromas and mint and thyme and what the French actually, in France, gosh, I don't even know what it is in Italian, the word, but in French it's actually garrigue, and here in the United States, I guess it would be, it would be the herbs, of what you would find actually in the front of our house right now. We have rosemary and we have mint and thyme planted, and that's what this smells like. It's really young now. It's got great acidity. It's got that dark character that you get from Sangiovese. It's got a little bit of that bitter, kind of black coffee character that you get from a wine that's definitely on southern-facing slopes in this kind of this bowl area that you get in Castellina and Chianti. It's definitely a wine that's ripe. But in this situation, eating steak and having roasted vegetables, this is the wine that you would want. And of course, it finishes incredibly long, which always makes it really nice, is that, the taste lingers, and there's enough acidity that it definitely will cut any of the fat that you get from the meat. Anyways, so this is Chianti Classico, Le Fioraie, from Piemaggio is the name of the producer, 2015. And as always, I hope you're safe and healthy, and that your families are safe and healthy, and I look forward to seeing you soon.